Hi class, my name is Luke and my final presentation is a guide to intentionality. So what is intentionality and how does it apply to our everyday lives? So I'll give you a little bit of background about myself. So let's rewind to 2024. I was seeing so many people's lives that were disciplined and so inspirational that I decided that I had to change my life around. So January 1st, 2025, I started playing video games, mainly Fortnite. I ended my unhealthy eating habits and I replaced all these bad habits with routines, consistency, and mindfulness every day. So at our gym one day, someone I knew came up to me and said something along the lines of, "You've been so consistent and hardworking. Make sure you still have some fun. You're only a high schooler for so long." So I'm like, yeah, why not? That sounds great. However, after having some fun, I quickly found myself stuck in a constant loop of passiveness and unintentional living. I started procrastinating even, and this loop continued for like a year or something. It was so bad, and I asked myself, when will I stop living this way and start living an intentional life? First, let's get our information right. Intentionality is defined as the attitude of purposefulness with a commitment to deliberate action. So this would look like setting a goal out in the future and then taking intentional steps every day toward that goal with mindfulness and purposefulness. For example, if your goal is to build muscle, you know that you would have to work out or go to the gym. And so intentional steps in this goal would be to have mindfulness of what you're eating, how much protein you're getting in, what you're doing at the gym, and etc. And so you start thinking, if I want to build muscle, what actions am I going to have to take in order to do that? The bottom line is that intentionality is a purposeful pursuit towards a goal. Now, let's transition to an interview I had with a very inspirational YouTuber. He's a runner, like me, so let's hear what he has to say. I'm Luke Schooling. I go to Core Butte. I love running and I love watching your videos. But we just start off. Tell us a little about yourself and your background a little bit.
So I've been running since I was in 5th grade. I ran at the collegiate level for a school in Mississippi called Mississippi College, and I mainly specialized, I guess, in the 1500 or the 3K, 5K, whatever it was. And like in that process, being in college, I started a clothing brand and kind of documented my journey on YouTube and Instagram and different things, different platforms, and just tried to share that message of intentionality like you're talking about and leading life in a way that pretty much is like making sure that your actions have meaning and making sure every action you're taking has meaning that's pushing you toward a bigger goal.
Yes.
And that was kind of the idea there.
So first question, what is intentionality to you?
I feel like intentionality is just that about making sure that your actions have meaning. If you're wandering around aimlessly, if you are just going through the motions without having anything backing that, then you're gonna end up wherever the water takes you, I guess.
Yeah.
Figures you set a goal out in the future and you're like, all right, I don't want to take the actions necessary to achieve that a year down the line or a few months down the line. You just take these actions each and every day and it compounds into something that allows you to achieve that goal and it brings you closer to it each and every day, even if you don't always feel like you're making progress.
Question 2, what made you want to become an intentional person?
Like for me, I was at a point where I felt like I wasn't creating the things that I wanted to create. I was creating things that I knew how to and not the things that I enjoyed making. And so in that process, I decided, well, I feel like I'm just going through the motions here in what I was doing. And so that was with creating videos back in, I guess, the summer of 2022. Eventually decided, man, I'm tired of this. Like I'm not enjoying this anymore. I want to create things that I enjoy making. I want to put intentionality into my videos. That following season ended up being very successful, but at the end of the season, I ended up getting the flu, and I wasn't performing very well. I wasn't racing well, and I was just like, man, this isn't fun. This isn't enjoyable. So at that point, I decided, all right, I need to take more intentional actions with my habits and building stronger, better habits. And so that's what I started doing. That indoor season in 2023, it was a super successful, at the beginning of 2023, it was a super successful indoor season and allowed me to really have some great performances. And I was continuing to make videos and create things that I enjoyed making.
How has being intentional benefited yourself?
I've seen the fruits of that in my own life. I've seen a more meaningful and purposeful pursuit of whatever it is that I'm going after. And I feel like there's more fulfillment in that type of pursuit. Sometimes you still have to just remind yourself over and over, and so it becomes a discipline of reminding yourself, okay,
Yeah.
I need to be intentional. And so it's being intentional about intentionality.
So there you have it. You heard it from Brock Kelly himself. Intentionality is making sure your actions have meaning and making sure every action you're taking is pushing you towards a larger goal. This will look different, however, for everyone because everyone has different goals. If you want to become an intentional person, just start with the small things. You could simply start by brushing your teeth in the morning, making your bed, or starting that assignment that was due yesterday. Nice. For me, I've personally seen the benefits that come from living an intentional life. I'm more happy, I'm satisfied, and I feel like I have a purpose. Genesis 5:1 from the Bible says, "When God created mankind, he made them in the likeness of God." This verse alone suggests that Jesus, our Creator, had intentionality in creating us because we bear his likeness, we have the capacity for relationships, we have rational ability, and contain unlimited value and worth because we reflect God. In conclusion, the shift from passively observing to intentional action transforms an ordinary existence into a meaningful life. In life, we receive a vocation, either by God or by other means, and that mission we pursue will align with our beliefs. So what do you want your life to stand for? And are you letting life happen, or are you making it happen? First, we must know our goal. Then we can take intentional steps toward that endpoint we want to see come to fruition. Ultimately, we humans want the results, but we don't want to take the actions necessary for accomplishment. Simply taking these actions every day will produce a beneficial and magnificent impact on your life. It's something only you can experience, the reward for being intentional. After all, this is your life, the most beautiful aspect of creation, which deserves utmost attention and care.